Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic and a new puzzle by Clover, one of our favourite constructors. She calls this one Boxes. It's supposed to be approachable as well, so do make sure you give it a go. Now, we've got lots of exciting things coming up on the channel in the coming days. Some of those are secret, but if you're a patron of the channel, do have a look at the new content over there. Yesterday, we released Dimono's video on how to solve his Everything Rogan is on Fire puzzle. So that was up yesterday, and then today we've released my attempt at PHISTOMEFEL'S new logic puzzle, Sisyphus, which let's just say it's a tricky little fellow, that one. If you would like to showcase your computer skills by showing the solution to that puzzle with graphics and sound, we would love to see it, because it sort of lends itself to that format, we think. You basically have to roll a rock into the side of the puzzle, and that rock needs to make its way down a series of hills of different heights. It's a fascinating thing, but it did occur to me, sort of Qbert style, it might make for quite a good GIF or something. I don't know. I'm using the GIF. It's GIF, isn't it? I don't know whether it's GIF or GIF. You know, I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, anyone out there with the skills to make it work, we'd love to see it. Now, what are the rules of Clover's puzzle? I will read them to you. Normal Sudoku rules apply. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. Digits cannot repeat within a cage, so normal killer Sudoku rules. And digits in white circles must appear in one of the 4 cells surrounding the circle. So what does all this mean? So, now in fact also I'm noticing that some of the killer cages here have not got totals at all. So those are going to be subject to just you can't repeat digits in the cage type rule. And then those 5 cells, for example, just talking about killer Sudoku, have to sum to 22 without repeating a digit. So what you can't do is sort of put 5s into those 2 squares. Although you might be able to make the maths of the cage work, you will break the rules of killer Sudoku. And those 4 squares there need to include the digits 3, 4 and 5. You don't know the order, but they've got to have a 3, 4 and a 5 in those 4 squares. That's all there is. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now the first thing that catches my eye is, look at those. We're basically told what digits go into the little 2x2s around the circles. It's got to be 1, 2, 5 and 9. And interestingly, it's the same digits that have to surround these circles. Not sure what that means. 3, 4, 5, 12. Right, and now I can see something interesting about this circle. 3, 4 and 5 sum to 12, so we can't put them all in the 11 cage, because 11 does not equal 12. There is a knowledge bomb for you from Cracking the Cryptic. Now that means this square must contain one of those digits, so that must be 3, 4 or 5. Okay, 5, 6. Oh, now right. Okay. Let's keep doing arithmetic round the corners here. I'm actually wondering if this is a PHISTOMEFEL thing going on. We shall see. But anyway, 4, 5 and 6 add up to 15, not 14. So this square must be 4, 5 or 6. 5, 6 and 7 add up to 18, not 17. So one of those is 5, 6 or 7. And 6, 7 and 8 add to 21, not 20. So there's a 6, 7 or 8 here. Now, wonder if I have to use... That's interesting to me. I don't know if this is what we have to do, but you can see pencil marked into those 4 squares there are not the digits 1, 2 and 9. Now that means that whatever we put in this domino here, you can't put the same, well, unless it's a 5, but you can't put a 1, 2 or a 9 here and a 1, 2 or a 9 here. So if you put the same digit in, let me just show you what I mean. If you put 1s into those 2 squares, you now can't put a 1 in box 5 anywhere. So there is something going on. So if you had, just let me think about this for a moment. If you have 1 and 2 here, then 1 and 2 would have to be there. This would have to be 5 and 9. So we can't quite say all four of these digits need to be different, because you could have a repeated 5 in these dominoes. But there's something going on. There's something going on, I just don't know what it is. Right, okay. What else can we do here? I don't really see how to use this 22 cage. 12 cages, are they 2 5s and 9s? So obviously if this was 5 7 or 3 9, it would have an impact on these foursomes around these circles over here. 4 5 and 6. Now there's something. Right, sorry. 4 and 6. If you put 4 and 6 in the 14 cage, what would the third digit have to be? It would have to be a 4, and that would repeat the 4 in the cage. So this, we can do better than saying this is 4, 5 and 6 then, because we can't put 4 and 6 in here. So this must be a 4 and a 6 and not a 5. Which means 5 must go in the cage, I suppose. But now I can't put 4 in the cage, because if I put 4 in the cage, I'm going to have to put another 5 in the cage, and that will repeat the 5 in the cage. So if I can't put 4 in the cage, the 4 will have to go there, which means there's now a 6 in the cage, and it's a 3 5 6 cage. That's really clever and surprising. Now that removes 4 from that one, and by Sudoku it places 4 in one of those squares, look. Oh, and now the 11 cage has to have a 4 in it, but we don't quite know where it is. It could be this one, or it could be over here. No, hang on. It has to be in one of those two squares, because it can't be in this square. So there's a 4 in one of these squares, which means there's no 4 there. Which means the only place for 4 in box 2 is here. These two squares have to add up to 7. Oh, this is clever again, right? So I can't repeat the 3. So if I put 3 in here, it would need another 4. So the 3 has to be outside of this cage, which means there's a 5 in the cage along with a 2. Now that 3 is a little less potent, but oh no, I was about to accuse it of being less potent than this 4 was. But the 3 does see that square, so maybe I was maligning it unfairly. In fact, maybe I was, because the 3 has to go in one of those two squares now. 3, 4. I wonder if this has to be a 5. Oh, hang on. 3 is here, so 3 is not there. Let's do the simple stuff first with Sudoku. So this is 3. This is a 5, 6 pair. 3. Oh, that's interesting. 3 and 4 have to make appearances down here. There's all sorts going on now. You can't put 3 and 4 in a 12 cage because, another knowledge bomb for you, 3 and 4 don't add up to 12. So that square there has got to be a 3 or a 4. Let's just come back and check this one. Now, yeah, okay. We can ask a similar question about, is it possible that this 17 cage has a 5 and a 6 in it? Well, no, it's not, because then you'd have to repeat the 6 to get to 17. So that means this square has to be a 5 or a 6, can't be a 7, which of course puts 7 in the 17 cage. 7 can't go in the 17 cage with a 3, because then you'll need another 7 in it, so that places the 3 in this box. Means there's a 3 in one of those 3 squares. You can't put the 3 in the 20 cage because that would require 8, 9 here. And you'd have a 3 and a 9 in this foursome, and you wouldn't be able to put 6, 7 and 8 into it. So that's not 3. Let me come back here. So this is 7, which means, oh, so it can't have a 5 in it. So each of these, it looks like each of these foursomes is actually resolvable once you consider the options. If there's a 5 along with the 7, there has to be a second 5. You can't put 2 5s in a cage. So the 5 needs to be left out in the cold. There must be a 6 in the cage, and therefore we need 4, 6 and 7 to make the maths work. And there's a 4 there. So there's now a 4 in one of these squares. There's a 6. There's a 6 here. So we get the 6. That doesn't fix the 12 cage. But it does mean there's the 5 in the 1, 2, 5, 9 quadruple is now definitely in row 5. So that square, oh, sorry, the moment this was 5, 6, I could have just resolved it. I didn't think about the 1, 2, 5, 9 options. That actually finishes the 5 and the 2 as well. So now in this box, I need to place 6, 7s and 8s, and there's a 6 here. Okay, so that gives us a 7, 8 pair at the top of the grid. 1, 2 and 9 down there. Ooh, that's interesting. Look, this is nearly interesting. I'm not sure, but what I really want to do is to look at this foursome. So let's have a look at this. Can we do something similar? Yes, we can. This cannot contain a 6 and a 7 because then it needs to have a second 7. So this square is definitely a 6 or a 7 then. That pushes 8 into the cage. Now I need 12 more, so I can't have double 6. Oh, it's enchanting, isn't it? You can't put a 6 in here because you have to put double 6 in. So the 6 must be left out. A 7 must go in the cage along with a 5. And we can do that. And yes, we can do that. That's a 5 now by our old friend Sudoku. 5 is not in those squares, so 5's in one of these squares. The 5's do repeat looking at the cross here. Okay, have we... this 12 cage now can't be 5, 7 or 3, 9. That's got to be 4, 8. That means 8's got to be in one of those squares in the central box by the power of Sudoku. This cage now can't be 5, 7 or 4, 8. So that one is 3, 9, which fixes that that's a 4. That fixes that that's a 1, 2 pair, which gives us the 9. Which means there's no 9 here. I think this 4 is fixing stuff. 4s and 7s, that's fixing 7s and 8s. Good grief. Okay. Now, what is the next? We have almost done the PHISTOMEFEL'S ring. I don't think we're going to need to do any trickery today. Which the trickery being, of course, that the ring has to contain the same digits as the 2x2s in the corner. It looks like this one will, well, I shouldn't say this, but I think it's going to yield to more basic, but nevertheless beautiful logic. Now, that square looks like it has to be a 1 or a 2 to me because it can't be a 9. That gives us a 1, 2, 5 in the row. So this row now hasn't got 6s and 7s in it. There's a 6 here. So this square is a 6. That square's a 7 in the middle of the grid. We now have done the PHISTOMEFEL'S ring in its entirety. 1s, 2s and 8s into those squares. So it feels like I ought to be able... Can I narrow these down somewhat? Maybe I can't. Oh yeah, look, I can get rid of 9 up there. Okay. So now we have to do what exactly? The answer is I'm not sure. We've still got these 22 cells. And this 21 cage here. but they feel incredibly open to me in terms of their optionality. Oh, I suppose I know those squares, don't I? They've got to be a 7-8 pair just to complete this box. That's nice. That gets me the 8 in the middle box. Okay, 7, 8 here. That's beautiful in terms of this row, look. Once you get a 7, 8 here, you can't repeat those digits in the cage. So where are we putting 7 and 8 in row 3? They're going to have to be there. Whoopsie. Which means that those two squares are a 1, 9 pair, I suppose. Don't know the order, but we do know now, look, we know those 4 squares contain a 1 and a 9. We know those squares contain a 1 or a 9. So where are we putting the 1s and 9s in column 7? It'll have to be down here. Oh, this is gorgeous. Now I've got a 1, 2, 9 triple in that cage. 1s, 2 and 9s add up to 12. So these two squares have got to add up to 9 in order to get us to 21. We can't use 1, 8 or 2, 7. So it's either it's 3, 6 or 4, 5. There's a 4, 5 here. So this square can not be 4 or 5. So this is a 3, 6 domino. There's a 6 there. We know the order. So that's 6, that's 3. Oh, it doesn't quite do what I hoped it might. 1s, 2s and 9s. Well, okay, yeah, and we need to put this square here as a naked single, isn't it? It's got to be a 2, because it can't be a 1 or a 9. And in this row, we need 1s, 2s and 9s, so that's a 2. Remove 2 from those squares. This is a 1, 9 pair. We need to put 1 and 9 in this box, and it can't repeat in the cage, so that's a 1 and a 9, which gives us the 2. This gives us the 1. That gives us a 2, 9 here, a 1, 5 pair there. Let's get rid of the corner pencil mark. Now, in this box, look, this has got to be a 2, 3 pair, I think, because we've not pencil marked those in. We don't know the order, but that's useful because it fixes that that one isn't a 2. Which means that one is the only place for a 2 around its quadruple. 1, 9 gives us the 5. Now I seem to have a 1, 9 pair in my 21 cage, so that's going to be a 2, that's a 1, that's a 1, that's a 9. The 1 fixes this 1, 9 pair, that fixes the 9s and the 1s at the top. It's just a beautiful puzzle, isn't it? It really is. That's a 5 by our old friend Sudoku. 4s and 8s. It's not difficult, but it is absolutely, well, firstly, it's fun, and secondly, you can just feel the cleverness sort of oozing out of it. Okay, now let's have a look. Look, it's again. Everywhere you look, there's these sort of weird pairs. 1, 9 here can't go in those two squares, so they've got to go up there. Of course, that now gives us a 1, 9 pair in this 22 cage, so that square is going to be a 2. That fixes the 9. That bounces back by ping pong into here and gives us the 9 and the 1. The 9 is in the same cage as that one, so we can fix all of that. We can fix all of this. Now those two squares have got to add up to 10. So this can't be 8, 2 because that will repeat the 2. So that's a 7. That's a 3. That's an 8, 8, 4, 3, 2 by using our old friend Sudoku. 2 sits in the corner. These squares here have got to be a 3, 4 pair, which we can do for once. That fixes the 4 and the 8 and the 7. 7 lives over in this square. We need 5 and 6, which must be resolved now. We've got too many digits for it not to be. I've not put 7 in this column. 7 and 8 go in. Those two squares 4 and 6, I think. No, they're not. I've got 2 7s. What did I just do wrong there? Hopefully miscanned this square, otherwise I've had a real problem. Why can't that be a 4? It is a 4. It's just me being bonkers. 5 and 6 go into those squares. 8 and 7 go into these squares. Now, can we do anything clever here? 3 must go there, 6 must go there. That fixes the 6 and the 5 and the 5 and the 1. Still, this 7, 8 hasn't resolved itself. In this column, I need 4 and 7. That 4 looks nice. 4, 7, 7, 8, 8 and something. 2. There we go. Finished. Yes. Wonderful. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Shorter video today. So yeah, if you want to have a look at Sisyphus, if you want more a longer video, that's much longer than this one at about double the length. And thank you so much to Clover. She suggested this to me just yesterday. And yeah, her puzzles are always brilliant. So we are very, very happy to showcase them here. And I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.